Hi, this is Erina McWilliams-Lopez from 1623 Studios, and I am joined here today by Derek Schwartz, who works with a local nonprofit in the greater Boston area and has started a really fascinating and inspiring platform called Cloud Café, which we are going to learn about in this conversation. So, Derek, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And our first question is, tell us about Cloud Cafe. What's it all about?
Yeah, Cloud Cafe is an interactive performance series that my partner Lily Shea, who couldn't make it right now, that we started in order to raise money for artists who have lost work to COVID-19. So this is a project. It's really crazy because it feels like we've been doing this for months, but we really started it maybe a week and a half ago. And so far, we've hosted 3 events and we've raised almost $3,000, which we've distributed to 13 artists and curators. So each performance is curated by a different local artist. And we've really asked the curators to think about how to bring the audience into the performance. There have been a lot of kind of like live streamed concerts in the last few weeks, which has been really exciting to see. And we also wanted to do something a little bit different in that we wanted these performances to be interactive. We wanted to bring people into them, and we wanted people to feel like they were in a community. I think something that we've been really pleased about is how much these performances really have felt like you're in a room full of people, and people have really been actively engaging with the performances. We've had question and answering sessions. Last night we had a performance that had live drawings, so you could. There was an artist, Annie Chang, was drawing as the musicians were performing, which was really cool to see. And then we had a poetry workshop, which was led by Katie Tarika Bartel, who is a local poet and an amazing visual artist. And all of the artists that we featured have lost a huge portion of their income in the last few weeks with the outbreak of COVID-19. So we really wanted to find a way to support them and also to support all the people out there who are having a really hard time with social isolation and really just need a place to go.
Yeah, that's amazing. I keep hearing from people that music and creativity and art is really part of the process for just feeling more energized and more hopeful, and it's just so important right now. So it's wonderful that you're doing that. And tell us a little bit more about your audience. Who are you trying to reach? It sounds like you're based in the Boston area, but are you reaching a global audience, local audience? How does that look?
Yeah, I think right now we've mostly been reaching a local audience in that we kind of started this by reaching out to people who we know. So the three curators who designed our first 3 shows are all Boston artists, but the performers have not all been from Boston. Our performance on Monday had a performer from Puerto Rico, and we've started in the meetings, we kind of, there's like that awkward moment in a Zoom conference where people are just kind of slowly entering and the meeting hasn't really started yet. And so we kind of have this moment of going around and asking people where they are. And there have been people from all over the place. And that's been really cool to see. And I think as we move forward, we would like to reach a wider and wider audience. And also part of the reason why we're reaching out to these artists to curate for us is because we wanted to go beyond our own community. We wanted to go beyond our own circles. I think the performances that I'm most excited at are the ones where there's people doing all sorts of different things and that it all kind of comes together in this weird and unexpected way. And that's kind of what we want to see because, Lily and I both are kind of aware of a lot of different things that are happening, but we really wanted to see new things and we wanted to expose people to new things that they maybe wouldn't have thought of before. So in our first performances, we've had poets, we've had actors, we've had writers, we've had musicians, we've had teachers. It's kind of just been this weird hodgepodge of all these amazing artists, and it's been really cool to see that come together.
That's amazing. So it sounds like it's really for everybody. That's what I'm hearing. Is like people that are either creatives themselves or just people that need that thread of music and poetry. in their lives. So that's great. And how do people find it? Are you live streaming on Facebook, or how do I find this?
Yeah, so we've been using Zoom calls for the actual performances because Zoom lets people into the performance in a way that, Facebook or YouTube doesn't do as much. So in addition to the comments, everybody is also on video, and you can kind of hide your video and come back in um, as you see fit. But then we're also streaming everything on YouTube. We know that not everybody wants to be seen, and some people kind of want to have that more passive, traditional live streamed performance setting. So we absolutely encourage that too. We have a website which has a really long URL that I can share, but on that website, we have links to join the Zoom calls if you're joining it live. And then we also have archived YouTube videos of all of the performances.
That's wonderful. And if, just thinking about the local artists in our area, uh, what would you say to them in terms of how they should reach out to you and what they can expect by engaging with Cloud Cafe?
Yeah, I think um, I would say that we are interested in doing as many of these as we possibly can. I think we're in this tricky place where we just did our first series of events, and we were able to raise a lot of money. We were able to raise $3,000, which we then distributed to the 13 artists, but we're also in a tricky place where we're not quite sure how to move forward because I think we can only crowdsource so much. So we're really trying to dive into finding creative ways of raising that money in ways that isn't taking away from the artists who are trying to apply for like emergency grants and things like that. So I would just say that we really want to work with you, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do that right now. And then I would also just point people to all the other resources that are out there. There aren't enough resources. Unfortunately, the infrastructure to support freelance artists is just not fully there, which is why this moment is so hard. But there are artist relief funds out there. And if you poke around the internet, you will find there are some grants out there that people should look into.
That's great. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing in launching this and for joining us to share. It's really inspiring and really appreciate that you're doing this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's really great to talk to you about this.